What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Veteran and Rookie Podcast. This is your veteran, Benea, speaking.
This is your rookie, John, and that was so crisp and delicious.
And we got another guest on.
Well, we have the same guest on.
Same guest we had on last time.
Yeah, they had to meet their diversity quota for this month, so
For real.
here I am.
It's not David. He's gone. But maybe we'll go to him at some point.
She's our second guest, and we've had her on 2 times. So now we can have another guest on.
It's allowed.
Yeah. We have to have each guest on twice.
Just to make sure that they were good guests.
Yeah, just to make sure everyone knows that
that they are a guest.
We're never having them on again.
Once they're on a certain amount of times, and it's like 4 strikes, you're out.
For sure. Yeah. With that being said, Kyleigh, what are we doing today?
We are ranking the NFC North teams, which, if you don't know, are the Bears, the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings.
Kind of sounded like you didn't know for a second.
I forgot what the last one was for a second, but it's the Vikings.
Everyone forgets the Vikings. Not really, but...
Since you're our guest and you're never coming back on.
Well, no, it's just her halfway point. She gets 2 more episodes after this,
okay. Yeah.
Right?
Well, since you're coming back
Hit
on.
the David quota.
Since you're coming back on.
And then you have to move to Kalispell.
Okay. Do you want to start?
No, I don't. But I do think we should start with the Lions. So I don't want to start, but let's start with the Lions.
We could start with the Packers.
We're going with the Lions, I guess.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
We're going with the Lions.
Lions. Tell me about that quarterback, Kyleigh.
So obviously the quarterback is Jared Goff. We all know this. I gave
news
him
to me.
You thought it was still Matthew Stafford.
It's not?
No.
Wow.
Barry Sanders isn't running anymore. I'm sorry.
Stop. No.
No, so the quarterback is Jared Goff. I gave him a 15 out of 20. I really like him. I think he's a cool guy. He had 29 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. He had a 65.1% completion, and he had a little over 4,400 yards. I think that's pretty solid. For a little bit, this is not Ravens episode, but there was a theory that the Ravens were going to trade Lamar to the Lions and we were going to get Jared Goff.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the ones I threw out there.
I wasn't totally mad about that because of all the scenarios, just because I think I like Jared Goff a lot, and I think that he gets a little more I feel like he's a little underrated, but, that's my opinion.
I feel like there's almost like a cult following now behind Jared Goff, like over the last couple of years. People just have random people. I just see like random YouTube videos and it's just like, oh, it's a Jared Goff jersey in the background.
Yeah.
It's like they're not even Lions fans or whatever. It's just like he has this weird cult following, which is fun.
Because I think he seems like a cool guy as a person too, like that he's not, it's not like Patrick Mahomes where he has a terrible family and just.
And he could have kind of just maybe not given up, but like his career kind of could have like almost virtually ended going to Detroit.
Exactly.
From LA, and instead he's playing better than ever now.
Yeah, he elevated them for sure.
And I think when they traded for him, it was probably just to be a bridge quarterback for a year or 2, but he might be the guy.
Yeah, franchise, here we come. All right, John.
What do you have him at points-wise?
Me? I got him at a 14 out of 20.
We were close.
Yeah. I think he's the best quarterback out of these 4 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And so I gave him that extra point, and I had him at a 14.5. And so I have him at a 15.5 right now. Yeah, I think he's really good. And there's another quarterback that's pretty close to him in this group of teams. And I think he's a little bit better. Yeah. So that's why I gave him that extra point.
Well, and actually, I think I have him ranked top out of all of them. So I would give him that extra point, and that would bring him up to a 16 for me.
For context, I give Lamar a 16.
Oh, dang. Well, I still gave him a 20.
You did give him a 20.
That was something that happened, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on.
Okay.
We don't need to talk about that.
On a running backs, what do you think, Benea?
Jahmyr Gibbs, of course, that was one of the talks of the draft as being a big reach. Yeah. But if he's good, who cares? Like if Nick Chubb had gone in the first round back in 2018 or whenever he got drafted, the people would have said that would have been a reach. But he's one of the best running backs in the league. So if he's good, then that's really all that matters. They also signed David Montgomery, former Bears running back, who every year of his career now for 4 seasons, he's had at least 800 rushing yards. And like half of that time, he wasn't even the main running back. And so I think that can be a very good 1-2 punch. Will it be as good as Swift and Williams last year, though? I don't know.
Well, and David Montgomery was hurt this past year too, right?
So was he? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I thought I read something about that where he was coming off of an injury too. So
Still at over 800 yards, though.
yeah, and 5 touchdowns. So go him.
Yeah, it was like all of my notes, Banana, that you just said. You
Same.
You want to say it, but better?
I had Jamar Gibbs, and I said
Jameer Gibbs.
or whatever. I don't care. I had Jameer Gibbs, and I had his like ranking. He was 12th overall, first round,
Yep.
and that is high for a running back. Especially a lot of people are saying the second best running back that was available, and I think he can be good. A lot of people were criticizing like his top line speed because I've seen him like break away from stuff, like get through tackles, and then kind of just like, yeah. Remember that one clip? It was like it was the Seahawks, and he was running, and he just got caught, and it's like detach the trailer. They're gonna
Oh, the Eagles.
or there was the Eagles, yeah,
JHIE.
Yeah.
It's like they're going to lower my speed in Madden now.
yeah. So that's kind of what it reminded me of. And they also have Davis Montgomery, and I have here that he had over 800 yards, and my notes say still not DeAndre Swift. So that's basically.
I think
what
he's
you
better
said.
than Swift. I don't know if he's better than Williams, though.
I don't know if he's better than Swift. I think a healthy Swift would have been.
Swift, even when he was healthy, was inconsistent, though.
Yeah,
know
I
that. He
guess.
was on your fantasy team.
But when he was healthy, he was still recovering from injury. He had injury the whole time, even when he played. So and yeah, 17 touchdowns for Jamar Gibbs. Or wow,
Not yet.
not Jamar.
When he wins Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. But I think that's an okay. It's not the best ever, but I think it's all right.
What'd you give him?
I gave him a 5 out of 8.
I did too.
I gave him a 6 out of 8.
Wait, because who did they give? Who did they trade Jamal Williams to?
Williams, they
Saints.
just didn't re-sign him, and he signed with the Saints. They traded
Oh.
Swift to the Eagles.
Yeah. Well, I didn't understand. Well, because you liked him, because apparently when that one time when they were doing like the introduction for the game, and apparently it was an anime reference, but I'm a little too homeschooled to understand that, and you thought that was really funny. So I remember you talking about how much you liked him, and he seemed like a cool guy.
He's a really cool guy, and he got 17 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So
Broke that record from Sanders.
Broke the record from Sanders, and he also got 1,000 yards, that's pretty
Quietly got
substantial.
1,000 yards.
It's like, yeah, 17 touchdowns. Oh, 1,000 yards too. Okay, yeah, cool.
And we'll get to the Saints when we do it, but he might be the main guy down there, especially with sounds like Alvin Kamara is going to be at the very least serving some suspension time and whatnot. So
Yeah,
no.
that'll happen.
Oops.
Yep. On to you had him at 6 and Benet.
I know I am at 5.
You guys were both
We
5.
were
I
the
had him at
same. He
6.
had him at 6.
What about those receivers?
Those receivers, well, Amon-Ra St. Brown,
I like that guy.
I'm not even sure if you could say he broke out last year because he was good as a rookie. But, I mean, last year I think kind of put him in that, like, fringe top 10 wide receivers in the league conversation. He's, floating around, that 10 spot. He might be 12 or something like that. But if he can keep improving and keep playing like he has been even, I think he will be in that conversation, at this point next year. And then they also got Jamison Williams once he gets back from serving that 6-game suspension for gambling inside of team facilities or whatever.
Whoops.
He was hurt all of last year. He had 1 catch for 41 yards and a touchdown. That was cool.
That was cool.
That was literally all he did, though.
I had him on my fantasy
But he
team
was-
for that catch.
Did you start him any other weeks?
No, I started him that
Oh,
week.
nice. There you go. You got a little bit of something out of him then. But he should be healthy. I would hope he'd be healthy for the start of this season, or 6 weeks into the season. They also re-signed Marvin Jones, who after 2 years in Jacksonville is back in Detroit. And he's always been a solid receiver. He always tends to get between like that 500 to maybe 800 yards, maybe even 1,000 in a good year for him. And he's always got those solid hands.
Yeah. I gave them a 7 out of 12.
I gave him an 8 out of 12.
I gave him a 7.5.
Oh, man, right in
Let's
between.
go.
Yeah. I'm pulling a John and doing half points, so.
Any
Yeah.
other words on the receivers, or did I already say it all?
Yeah.
I like-
No, I was gonna say he said all mine, so go ahead.
I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he could be, like you were saying, I mean, because it's just what I was going to say, but I had him for fantasy, and it was really nice because, like, he was kind of a sneaky pick for fantasy, and he carried me to my, 4 wins.
Mhm.
But, yeah, he was really good. He got
Great value pick.
his yards. I think he was
Like 1,100?
1,100
Like
yards,
7
which was
touchdowns or something?
11th in the league. So,
Yeah.
you
Fringe
know,
top 10?
Fringe top 10.
Yeah.
I
The
think
better of the St. Brown brothers.
Yeah.
the other St. Brown brother is actually not the best receiver, but he's a pretty good blocker. I've seen some.
As
some
far as-
tape.
I'm
Purely
okay with him not
numbers,
being on
though.
the Packers anymore.
Yeah,
I'll
I
just
saw
say
that.
that.
Because
Yeah.
he plays for the Bears now, doesn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's funny how like these 4 teams kind of just trade people, and
They
just
really
like
do.
they all stay in these 4.
Mhm. Speaking of these teams trading amongst each other, the Lions used to have a tight end by the name of TJ Hawkinson. He's on the Vikings now. They traded him there midseason, which left them with Brock Wright at tight end. He was already at just over, I think, 400 yards. They also drafted Sam Laporta early in the second round of this most recent draft out of Iowa, who's a good receiving threat.
Yeah. What did you give him?
I gave them a 4 out of 8. I think if, especially if Laporta can end up being good, that's 2 good tight ends right there.
Yeah.
I also gave him a 4 out of 8. TJ Hawkinson only being there for what is it? He was there for 7 games, and he still had twice the amount of receiving yards as Brock Wright, right? And he played all 17. And I mean, I don't know. You have some decent receivers, and I guess you're using them instead of your tight ends because TJ Hawkinson was really good, and he was on the Vikings. So it could be good. Did they drafted somebody, right?
Sam Laporta.
Sam
I think
Laporta.
he'll probably end up being the starter at least at some point over Brock Wright, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I also gave them a 4. So look at us agreeing
Oh.
on that.
Wow, we really are just not varying at all on these lines.
Are we
Yeah.
going to vary at all on the offensive
I'll
line?
I'll start O-line.
Go for
I
it.
gave them a 9.5.
Whoa.
Which, okay, I know I'm having to look at my notes. So in other people's rankings, they were top 10 in most other people's rankings. And looking at it, a lot of them was ranked around 8th. Goff was only sacked 23 times, which is only 1 more time than Tom Brady was sacked, and no one likes to touch Tom Brady. So that is this is also my Brady prejudice coming out a little bit. But because Brady 23 times is like less than half the amount of times than Justin Fields was sacked.
Oh, yeah.
So that's, they have a solid O-line, I believe.
I think you believe they're a little bit more than solid. That's almost perfect.
Yeah, wait, where I think this is one of those ones where I had how we were supposed to rank them mixed up.
That's
I think I had
O-line.
it backwards.
Oh, offensive line's always out of 10.
Defensive
never
line,
mind then, okay.
defensive
I'm
line
just
can be
dumb.
15 or
Yeah, no,
10.
because I was looking at all the other teams too, and in ranking all of them, I think I just like half points too. I was gonna give him a 9, and then I was like, I gotta throw a half point in there somewhere.
You
So
can
I
do
did
8.5 if you want. Instead
Oh,
of
that's
the
true.
9.
You know what? Maybe I will change to 8.5. Anyways, go ahead. What is everyone else's thoughts?
I do agree with you that I think they have a very good offensive line. They got Frank Ragnow and Penei Sewell. They were both Pro Bowlers last year.
Yeah.
Both very good. And then Jonah Jackson, he made the Pro Bowl the year before. Taylor Decker, he's coming off one of the best seasons of his career. And then there are other offensive linemen. Halo Puli Tanavati.
Here, let me just.
I didn't even see. I was gonna put that in my notes, and then I was like, I don't even want to spell that.
Valtali is a solid tackle.
Yes.
What do you got, rookie?
Yeah, I don't really want to say that.
Okay. But he was solid for him last year. So they got a pretty good line, especially if someone like Penei Sewell, who a lot of hype for him in the draft a couple of years ago, and he keeps getting better. So, I think 3 of these guys were first round picks that have all pretty much hit.
What did they turn out for you out of 10?
Gave them a 7.
I also gave them a 7.
Whoa!
So I was originally a full 2.5 points above you guys.
You're taking
But I
it down
guess
to
I
an
was
8.5.
also what?
You're taking it down to an 8.5.
Well, I am, but I guess I was also looking at it in comparison to these other teams' O-lines, and no one else really has a great one, and so I was like, wow, these guys look so much better purely because of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
On the D line, Kyleigh, you seemed really.
I wanted to have one moment. You go ahead.
No, that's okay. You can go.
Okay. Wait, we were supposed to rank this one out of
15.
This one's
Okay,
out of
then I
15.
had this one. Okay, I did have this one.
They run a 4-3.
Yeah. Okay.
So for viewers who don't know, we either rank their linebackers or their line out of 15, depending on who does the pass rush.
Yeah.
So if they do a 3-4, we'd rank their linebackers with 15, and if they do a 4-3, it's their line.
Yep.
So the Lions do a 4-3, so it's out of 15.
Okay. Yeah. So I did do this one right. So I gave them a 7 out of 15. They're not very good. Really, all I saw for who was really good is Aiden Hutchinson. You know, he's solid, but other than him, they don't have a whole lot of other standout talent on there. They're third from the bottom in points allowed per game, meaning they allow 25.1 points allowed per game on average. So
It's too much.
That's not particularly the line's fault, though.
I'm just saying that is.
Is that kind of affected your whole defensive ranking as a whole?
Yeah. So I'm
That's
just saying
fair.
that in the general talking about their defense, they allow a lot of points per game compared to a lot of the other NFL teams.
Yeah.
So that's I guess I have that like in between my defensive rankings, but that is just a good point about the Lions defense. They're allowing a lot of points per game.
Yeah, they were allowing, I think, 30, like 30.
It was like 35
or something.
or something.
They picked it up at the end of the season. They were doing pretty good.
Well, on
They started out
ESPN, when
terrible.
you're looking at all the stats, whatnot on the right side, it was showing like point differential and all that, and their offense scored more points than their defense gave up at the end of the year, which was better than what the Vikings did.
Yeah.
When
They
the Vikings
started out so
lost,
bad.
it was big. Like that one to Dallas.
And when they won, it was by like 3,
yeah.
which
If
is
they
how
reversed-
that's how they had a negative 3-point differential as a 13-4 team.
Mhm.
That's insane, actually.
Trash.
For real. I'm a little bit higher on their defensive line, and I think it is just because of Aiden Hutchinson. I ended up giving them a 10 out of 15.
Oh.
He had 9.5 sacks. I think he's just going to continue to get better. He also had 9 tackles for loss and 3 interceptions as a defensive lineman. They also got Romeo Aquara, but he's okay, but he's only played 9 games in the last 2 years. They also have John Kaminsky, who filled in for him. He got 4 sacks last year, which was fine. They also have Lee McNeil and Isaiah Buggs in the middle of that defensive line, and they're both okay. But Aiden Hutchinson carrying for me there.
Yeah, for real. Aiden Hutchinson, he also got 3 passes deflected, and he got 2 forced fumbles, and that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave them an 8 because of the rest of the line.
Yeah, that's
and,
fair.
And just because of how, like, freaking awful they were at the beginning of the year. Like, it was like a paper line. It was nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They could get anything past them, and it was rough for the offense just scoring so many points and then just getting outscored because their defense is terrible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I gave them an 8.
All right. Linebackers, what are you thinking, rookie?
I don't really know about their linebackers. It was kind of like the same thing. I didn't watch too much like individual tape, but it was just kind of not great all around.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really look into the players too much. I mean, a lot of them are just kind of mid. I don't know. I don't have too much to say about it. I didn't do too much research into
What'd you
it.
rank them at?
I was scared. I got him a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, then they drafted a linebacker.
Yep, Jack Campbell.
And they got
Son of Dan Campbell.
What?
Oh.
It's not.
I was gonna say, I didn't hear about that. Anyways, and then they got Alex, whatever, however you say his last name.
Anzalone.
They got him back in free agency, but they also finished 29th against the run. And so I was
Ooh.
like, in the league, I was like, oh, dang. But and they also, who else is the other guy they had? They have Malcolm Rodriguez. I don't really know a lot about him.
And James Houston.
Yes, and that guy. And so they had the potential to be a lot better if Jack Campbell ends up being solid.
And Jack Campbell is a run-stopping linebacker.
Yeah, so that is exactly. So that's what they needed. So I only gave him a 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Campbell, he had 265 tackles his last 2 years
Oh wow!
in
I didn't
college.
realize that.
It wasn't
That's
in
pretty
1
good.
year, but in 2 years, yeah, he did that.
That's
That'd
a
be a
lot in 1
record
year.
for 1 year.
That's great.
James Houston, he was a rookie last year. I believe he was like a late-round pick. He only ended up playing 7 games. He got 8 sacks, which is pretty good there. And then, of course, Alex Anzalone, he had 125 tackles and 7 tackles for loss. So I'm a little bit higher on this linebacking core. I give him an 8 out of 10.
Oh dang! Okay.
Dang.
Yeah.
I
You
should
gave him
have
a
doubled
4.
Kyleigh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. That's okay. This is why it's an opinion podcast, not
This is actually a fact-based podcast.
Yeah, facts only, please.
Facts only. Yeah, you need to leave.
facts. Don't care about you.
You know who does care about your feelings?
Alex Anzalone.
The secondary.
Oh.
They don't actually. What are your thoughts on them, though?
My thoughts on the secondary.
Yeah, you seem to be a little bit down on them because of that.
You hate the Lions defense.
Allowing those
I am down on the
points.
Lions defense because they started out so bad.
It's true.
But
That's true, yeah.
Fact-based
I was there.
podcast.
yeah. So wait, were we moving on to the secondary? Is that what you were saying?
We are in the
Wasn't listening.
secondary.
Okay. I gave them a 5.5.
I'm so proud of you
they-
using half points.
Thanks.
Come a long way.
They have Emmanuel Mosley, who's coming off an ACL tear, and he only played 5 games.
Yep.
Which he's good when he's healthy. I feel like we're talking about the Ravens.
I think
again.
that was the first time he really got a major injury, though.
Yeah, so I think that he'll come back and he'll still be good. They got, let's see, Cameron Sutton, too. They were both signed in free agency, but also those two played together in college.
Oh, okay.
I found that I think they both played for like University of Tennessee together. Not that doesn't always matter, but that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And they have CJ Gardner-Johnson, who's also that guy.
That was a good pickup there.
Yeah,
they were able to get him pretty cheap deal too. It was like 1 year, $8 million or something like that.
So yeah, they did good in the offseason and kind of bolstering the secondary, but. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they didn't have much because they kind of replaced all of it.
Yeah.
So.
But they did Kirby Joseph as a rookie last year. Ended up getting 4 interceptions. I think 2 or 3 of those were on Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
Aaron Rodgers' his last pass as a Packer was to Kirby Joseph, which was a bummer. He also had 8 passes deflected. Tracy Walker missed most of 2022, but he's been good in previous seasons. And then, like you said, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, a good signing. And Brian Branch was one of the steals of the draft. He was a safety supposed to go in the first round, ended up falling middle of the second.
Mm-hmm. I didn't want to say anything about Kirby Joseph because I wanted you to be able to have your moment there.
Stop. I didn't want that moment.
Yeah, the Lions picked up some good stuff in the draft. They reached a lot, and they made some interesting choices. But
then they got some good value with like him and Hendon Hooker. And
yeah, I think the draft was pretty good overall.
Yeah.
I gave their secondary a 7 out of 10 because I like their signings they got back there.
Wow, so it was 5.567.
Whoa, counting up.
What is wrong with all?
We're all just.
It's almost like we talked beforehand and like discussed it.
But we didn't.
Totally
we didn't though.
What do you think of their kicker situation, rookie?
Oh, you always go kicker first.
I always do special teams first.
I don't like
my
it.
My bad. What do you think of their special team?
Okay. Tell us about their kicker because you seem so excited about it.
Well, Michael Badgley, he was their kicker last year. He hit 83% of his field goal attempts. They had a long of 53, but they also traded for Riley Patterson from the Jags a couple weeks ago, who played with the Lions 2 years ago, and he hit 85% of his kicks in Jacksonville, also with a long of 53. So basically, they're the same people.
Yeah, Michael.
They're both solid kickers.
Yeah.
And Michael had 100% extra point percentage, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want.
Yeah. But even Justin Tucker didn't. He missed 1 or 2 last year.
Because he's bad.
What a loser. Not even like top 5 kickers in the league. Right
so I gave him a 3 out of 5.
Me too.
I gave him a 4 because I thought that having 100% was cool because it looked cool.
Bonus points.
Bonus points.
That's,
Here,
that's
I'll give
actually that's why that's one I remembered to give the bonus point to.
Oh,
I had
yeah?
him at a 3 and I gave him at a 4.
I give him a 3.5 here. So.
Oh, you gave him a 0.5 there?
Yeah, I gave him a 0.5. I felt bad.
Like, sorry.
All right,
okay,
John,
now
you love
time,
special teams so much. Tell us about it.
Now it's time for special teams.
Yes.
So the only real part I look at on special teams is kick return yards because that's
It's the only thing that
matters. Yeah, I don't really care about the other stuff. And they had just under 900 kick return yards, and they didn't have any touchdowns from it. But their kick return guy is gone. Bye-bye.
They got Khalif Raymond now.
Justin Jackson is gone, and Khalif Raymond's in. I don't really know too much about that Khalif Raymond fellow.
He's okay as the returner.
And that's kind of what I thought too. So I give him a 4 out of 7.
Yeah, that's also what I thought, but I gave him a 3 out of 7.
Wow, you really hate this guy, don't
I
you?
hate Khalif.
What do you think about Khalif?
I read somewhere that and I don't know if this is a current stat or not, I just remember reading it that he had the best punt return average of returner in the league.
Oh, okay.
So
Didn't know about that.
Yeah, I read
Someone
that
didn't
somewhere.
do enough research. That was me.
And then
Both of us.
yeah, and then so I gave him a 5, and then I gave him a 5.
Just like
and their
that.
punter is the 6th in the league for average yards on punts. So their punter is pretty good too. I don't
No
remember
Ryan
his name.
Stonehouse though.
I don't remember what his name is. I didn't write it down.
So what totals do we got for points?
Oh, I didn't total it.
I didn't total it either.
Well, I can start. All my points added up. It was 14 plus 6 plus 8. It was 70 out of 105.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
That's really good.
What's the over under that Vegas gave?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
They got the highest out of the NFC North. It's a 9.5.
That's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Vegas is good at this stuff.
I wish they weren't.
Wish it was easier to make money by gambling, huh?
Yeah,
Me
just
too.
ask Williams about. Okay, I had him at if I added this up correctly, I had him at a 66.5.
Oh, okay.
So what did you have him again?
I had him at a 70
Okay. Yeah, so
because I was higher on a lot of things, especially their defense.
Well, yeah, and I was low on their defense, but I really do like the Lions, and I want to see them do well. I think that's. I am a sucker for an underdog story, so the Lions have been down for a while. I think Detroit needs some love.
Yeah, I like them for now. We'll see.
Yeah, since this is your teams in this division,
Yeah.
you don't have that same opinion, but that's okay.
It's the same way how for a long time you probably would think about the Browns, like, oh, that's cute.
No.
Oh, you hate the Browns?
Are
Okay.
always to be hated.
Because I've always thought the Browns like that.
No,
I was rooting for them and
absolutely
whatnot.
not. The Browns are the worst.
Oh, okay.
The amount of people that have gone to jail that are from the Browns.
They're almost up to Cowboys
The
numbers.
amount of people that should be in jail that are on the Browns,
One,
probably be more, but at least one.
probably more.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt's gone, so.
Oh,
That's true.
that's
All right,
good.
anyways.
I have him at a 66. I thought I liked
Wow,
them.
I thought you
Wait,
liked them
I'm
more
a point five
too.
above you.
I know. I guess their defense is just not.
Dragging them down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was all year. They'd have
It's kind of
probably
a factual.
12 wins if their defense was like at least slightly better.
Oh yeah, they're winning a bunch of those games early on in the season
Mm-hmm.
against. They beat the Eagles if their defense literally gives up.
They win the
4 less
Super Bowl
points.
if they. I mean,
If they win more games, they win the Super Bowl.
exactly. If they go
Wow,
really?
Yeah.
without losing, they would win the Super Bowl.
Yep,
crazy.
unless
And
they're like
that's-
the 2007 Patriots.
That's all on their defense.
All right.
So what are you
anyways.
taking on 9.5 over under? I'm gonna take the over.
I'm gonna let Kyleigh go first before me.
So second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Kyleigh
I'm
go
gonna-
second.
I'm going to go the over 2, but that's kind of with my heart as well. Like, I want to see them win more than 9 games.
Mine's less of a want. I think they will.
They didn't win 10 games last year, did they?
No, they were 9-8.
They were 9-8, and they lost both their good running backs. And I don't think these two guys.
But running backs are pretty replaceable.
But I don't think these two guys are going to fill in as much. And they lost T.J. Hawkins, whatever his name is.
They did.
Yeah, but that was.
And then they
half season.
started winning.
And then they started. Well, yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll go over. I'll do over.
Confirmed T.J. Hawkinson is a cancer.
Well, he started.
Actually, I don't know what month he was born.
Okay.
He was
wow.
winning a lot on the Vikings. He did pretty good.
Speaking
for me
of
in
the
fantasy.
Vikings, do you want to
Speaking
go
of
through
the
the
Vikings,
Vikings
let's
next?
do the
Let's do them
Vikings.
last. Let's do the Packers.
I think it'd be fun to do Vikings because we get that Kirk Cousins comparison.
Holy
to,
smokes!
Yeah.
It took us 30
Sure,
minutes
go.
to get through the lines.
It's almost like they're the Ravens.
Wow,
Yeah, I'm just
crap.
the one that makes it longer. My bad. Anyways.
Yapping.
Let's go to the Vikings.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you think of Captain Kirk?
Captain
the new
Kirk.
nightmare.
Kirk Thuggins. I think it is kind of weird to look at his stats and Jared Goff's stats because they're almost identical. Like they're so close. They have the same amount of touchdowns. They have within 100 yards of each other, or I think very close to within 100 yards. They have almost the same passing percentage or completion percentage. The only thing really is that Kirk Cousins threw twice as many picks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also, I don't like Kirk Cousins. So that's why originally I gave Jared Goff a 14.5 and I gave Cousins a 14.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why I have him. I have a 14. Yep, that's it.
Yep. I originally gave Kirk Cousins a 14, but I gave him that extra edge over
Why?
Goff.
Oh, so you
So
think
I
he's
gave
the
him a
best.
15 out of 20. It's close.
Dang.
It's
so
very
you think
close.
Kirk Cousins is 1 point away from being Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
I want you to say that.
Please.
Look me in the eyes and say that.
They both were number 8. They both wear purple. They're basically the same.
One of them played more games this year and had more touchdowns and yards.
Yep.
So
It's true.
Yeah, well, I gave him a 13. So I'm a little lower on him than both of you guys, but I
Wait.
like Kirk Cousins. I think he's a cool guy.
Mhm. You know
and-
what you're getting with him.
Yeah, and he may not be like Super Bowl material, but he's not terrible. He's just kind of, he's just
Mhm.
middle ground.
He's going to put
Yeah.
up really good numbers. The interceptions were a little high this season.
Yeah.
Normally he'll only have like 8 or something like that, but yeah, he'll put up good numbers and he'll get a Pro Bowl vote and he might even get his team to a wild card spot.
why do you think he's better than Jared Goff?
I think he's
actually a
more
great
efficient, and I think Goff is. I mean, you can say this with pretty much any quarterback, but Goff is very much. It depends on what's around him. Like when you take away some of his weapons, he doesn't elevate his players. I'm not saying Kirk Cousins does either. I think just Kirk is just a little bit more consistent, and I think he's just a touch better in that.
Kirk Cousins had one of the best receivers in the league, arguably the best, and a really good receiving running back, and then a top 5 tight end as well. So
Okay.
Jared Goff wasn't
I
throwing.
think Jared
any of
Goff
it.
would thrive with that as well.
Yeah, I think Jared Goff would have put up.
I don't
way
think
better
he would have
numbers
been.
than-
I don't think the Vikings would have been any different. In fact, they might have lost another game or two. I think.
with
Goff.
7 less picks.
Yeah.
Okay, you're wrong.
Opinion podcast.
I think Cousins is fine. I mean, this division is not the best for quarterbacks. So
No, compare.
I mean,
When
when
Kirk
Kirk Cousins
Cousins-
is the top, you know
Wait,
it's
Kirk
not
Cousins
great.
is not the top.
when Kirk
When
Cousins,
Jared Goff is the top, you know it's not great either.
I can't argue with that.
you had Jared Goff at your top spot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. You're correct.
Thanks, John. I really need validation from you.
You're
There
welcome.
you go. Don't we all? But yeah, I mean, if it is,
Oh
I mean, if it is Sunday Night Football, give me Jared Goff.
If it's any day, give me Jared Goff.
If it's the Super Bowl,
If
give me
it's
neither
Wednesday
of them.
night football.
If it's the Super Bowl, I'd rather lose.
If
Yeah,
I'd rather
because I know that's
That's
well, I
the
know Kirk
outcome
Cousins
anyway.
isn't going to be there. I know Jared Goff is only going to put up 3 points. So
yeah.
All right. Are we doing? Do you guys do wide receivers or running backs first?
running backs.
Okay.
So I gave their running back room a 4 out of 8. Now that Dalvin Cook is gone, Alexander Madison is now the man in Minnesota. He had over 400 rushing yards in each of his first 3 seasons. But how is he going to do now that he's taken over that main spot? I don't know. But when he's come in for Dalvin Cook, whether he's been injured or just on the sideline for a breather, he's been solid.
Yeah, I gave him a 3. And that was I had him higher, and then Dalvin Cook went away, and then I was like, nope.
Yep.
Well, and because now their top is most likely going to be Madison, or however you say his last name. I think their second
That is
is
it.
who, Ty Chandler or something like
It is
that.
Ty Chandler.
And Ty Chandler had
Bummer.
like 20 yards. I mean, I was on
He was the third running
because he's
back.
number 3, but still, like,
Ty Chandler
I think
has,
that he's not as solid of a second as Madison was to Cook.
Yeah, probably not.
So that's why I gave him a 3.
Ty Chandler has 20 career rushing yards.
Oops.
Career rushing yards.
I knew. Yeah, that's not the.
Did
the
you know that
greatest.
you had more rushing yards than Reggie Bush in 2015?
I didn't know that.
You did. He had -3.
That's kind of cool. Yeah. In my notes, Alexander Madison has never had a season with over 500 yards, and I know he hasn't been the starter.
That's why.
But even in a lot of games where it's like 2 running backs,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them do 700, 800 yards.
Yeah, but I think they're more of they just relied on Cook for a
And
lot
Cook-
of it instead of like a 50-50 or 60-40 split.
But I don't think Madison is going to be that. I don't even think Madison will get to his 500 mark without having, he fills the spots, like the gaps, and now he has to be the guy who leaves those gaps for a second. So he's filling most of that role.
I think he'll probably get like 900 yards still.
I don't think so. I gave him
I feel like especially if he's going to be the starter, like you almost has to.
he will probably try to
Like
get
they'll
that
give him
many.
enough carries to where he can get it, unless he sucks, which I don't think he's going to be terrible.
I think he will. That's why I gave him a 2 out of 8.
Holy cow!
Wow.
That's
You gave
getting
him-
close to a new low
But I'm
for.
saying, like, I that just seems 2 just seems so much lower than
I wonder if that's the lowest ranking any of
Yeah.
us have given anyone.
probably.
Yeah, I think
Worst
so.
running back in
Well,
the
because running
league.
backs are out of 8, so it's like
It is.
No,
So
the
it doesn't
lowest
even matter.
ranking has to be a kicker because we've had to have given 1.
I don't
Or
think we
kicker.
have
I
yet.
don't think you've given anyone 1.
I know we've given kickers 2s,
Yeah.
so it's not the lowest.
Okay. Anyways,
Get
let's just
me
move
up.
on.
You don't want to talk about these garbage running backs
Wide
anymore?
receivers.
Okay, I gave them a 10. I did.
I also did that, but then I
Because-
gave him a bonus point.
Oh, see, I didn't.
I gave him an
bonus points,
11.
So we're gonna give. I agree with you because first of all, obviously they have Justin Jefferson, who is arguably the best wide receiver in the league, at least
On a
up there.
historic pace
Yes,
right now.
at
He's
least-
insane.
Yeah, they drafted Jordan Addison, who in watching a little bit of his tape and everything, I think that he's going to be really solid as well. And they also have KJ Osborne, who is good as well. So I don't hate any of those. They're
Mhm.
all really good. So I think that even if their running backs end up being terrible, that the wide receivers can carry a little bit.
The new
hopefully.
nightmare can deliver to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think KJ Osborne's one of the most underrated receivers in the league. Over his first 2 years, now he has over 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that's as the wide receiver 3. Now that Adam Thielen's gone, he'll probably be stepping into that role a little bit. I bet Addison will also be filling into that role a little bit too. He might, maybe throughout the course of the season kind of slowly get more and more reps in the offense and whatnot. I don't know what they're going to do, but I think Jordan Addison's going to be good. That's the guy I wanted the Packers to take.
And I wanted the Ravens to take him too. But I think Zay Flowers is going to be good. But we were thinking they were going to take Jordan Addison there for a little bit. But
yeah, just what you guys said. That's what I had written down. I mean,
what'd you give him?
I gave him a 10.5 with the extra point.
Oh, you only had a 9.5 before. Okay.
I had him at 9.5 before because Justin Jefferson is that guy, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You have a third string receiver coming up to 2, and I don't know if I necessarily.
He's good though, KJ Osborne.
I don't think
he would have been a 2 for most other teams. I think.
Okay,
yeah, but that's because Adam Thielen was there.
Sure, I'm excited about the rookie. The rookie kind of looks like a younger Justin Jefferson. I think they'll play well together.
Yeah. We got he won the best wide receiver award in college in 2021. So
that's I think it's going to be a good receiver room. It's not as good as some others, but
it's no Bengals.
But
it's up. I mean, I think that's one of the highest receiver rooms I've got.
You have an 11?
Yep. Yeah. Bengals were a 13.
Why were you trying? Only a 10.5? Wow. How could you do it?
So low.
On a tight end, they are the ones who took T.J. Hawkinson
out of the grips of the Detroit Lions.
Oh, yeah.
Except they were said, go.
Leave, please. And they started winning.
Yep.
They were 1-6, and then he left, and then they were
9-8.
9-8.
Yeah, so they won 8 games and only lost 2.
You were like, what's 9 minus 1? Yeah, but T.J. Hawkinson is still really good. I don't know what him leaving did. It was probably just a coincidence, but maybe they were just more reliant on their receivers, and receivers were doing better. I don't know. But he's still a really, really good tight end. I think he is top 5. He did really good for me in fantasy as well.
Why are you so high on him? Now we know.
I like him. He was really good. He's really good. I gave him a 7.5 with the extra point.
Oh, wow.
So 6.5 out of 8.
I gave him a 5.
Why?
With no extra point.
Why? He's not.
Because he's the only. There's not a whole lot outside of him there.
And
there's another tight end room that I like better.
But
that has 2 guys who neither of them are better than Hawkinson, but I think combined I'd rather have 2 pretty good tight ends.
Well, because who's their second? What's his name?
Josh Oliver. You would know him. He was on the Ravens the last couple of years.
Oh yeah, that's true. I was wondering. I was like, I wrote his name down. I was like, why do I recognize that name? Duh, because he's on the Ravens.
Yeah, but with tight ends, it's not like you have receivers, because receivers are out there to receive. Tight ends do more than just receive.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you have another tight end that can block or can distract from T.J. Hawkinson, I think that'd be good. And if you really only need one good one, the Chiefs have proven that.
Yeah.
And
if you have a Travis Kelce.
He's not a Travis Kelce, but I think he is. I do think he's top 5.
Might be fringe top 5, yeah.
Fringe.
You got Kelce, you got Kittle, you got Mark Andrews, Darren Waller when he's healthy. I don't know. We never did.
T.J. Hawkinson. That's it. Yeah.
He might be 5.
Yeah. So I think you guys are bumming on the. You're giving him too much credit for having more than one. I think you only really need one good one.
Opinion podcast.
Opinionated. What did you give him?
We both give him a 5, right?
Yeah, we give him a 5.
Dang.
Yep.
Ruthless.
Over 500 yards, 3 touchdowns last year. He's a good receiving option. Offensive line.
How about it?
Well, don't love it. I gave him
like
a 5 out of 10. Christian Darrisaw is going into his 3rd season. He was a former first-round pick. Brian O'Neill was a Pro Bowler 2 years ago. Ezra Cleveland's all right. It's nothing special.
Yeah, I gave him a 4. I didn't really like him. They kind of let Kirk get hornswoggled back there. He was getting sacked a lot, 46 times.
It's too much.
That's kind of a lot to just let your quarterback just get drilled like that, especially when he's that age.
Yeah, he's old.
Ancient
I
fellow.
gave
Ancient
him
Kirk.
a 4.5, so I'm in between you guys.
Dang,
again.
every time. What the heck?
All right, to the defensive line.
They run a 3-4.
They do. So out of 10, Kyleigh, what'd you give that D-line?
Out of 10, Kyleigh. Come on.
Yeah, why did you talk to me like that? I'm your dog.
Kyleigh, come on, give us.
I gave
Good girl.
Stop.
Stop.
I gave him a 7. I don't remember why I didn't have.
Yeah, I was
notes.
gonna ask why, but I guess you don't.
I forgot to rank their D line, to be honest with you, and then I wrote a number down. So that's my bad.
They signed Dean Lowry from the Packers, and he's a solid player. They got a guy. His last name's Tonga. I'm not gonna try his first name.
Ooh.
They also got Harrison Phillips, who are currently also starters on that defensive line. You finding him?
Yeah.
His first name starts with a K.
Uh-oh.
Go for it.
Hyurius?
Hyurius Tonga.
Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah,
Or Kyleigh. Maybe this K isn't silent.
It's great of
So
you to assume that.
I gave them a 5 for their defensive line.
Yeah, that sounds like the number to give him because it's the number I gave.
Whoa, Jinx.
Whoa.
Jinx, you gave him a 4?
Give him a 7.
She's high on them.
Yeah,
Wow, she really
I'm low
likes
on
this
the
line.
Lions defense and high on the Vikings.
She really.
Alright.
She's just
Make
a
it
big.
make sense.
You're a fan of Kirk Cousins
You
getting
just
sacked.
no, you just like purple.
No, she likes Kirk getting sacked, and
Okay, I don't like the assumptions. Please stop.
you like. You don't like Kirk Cousins, do you?
I like them because they won fantasy for my dad one year.
Oh,
I
you do like Kirk Cousins.
First overall.
Why would you like their line then? Their line's just letting him get
I
destroyed.
didn't.
This is defensive line.
Oh, I'm really stupid.
You are.
I was like, wait, what?
the defensive line is
wrong-
sacking him.
What'd you give their defensive line? A 5?
I give him a 5.
Yeah, how'd you go on offensive line? You
Yeah,
you
my
were talking
brain.
about defensive line.
It's smooth. It's my
It
brain.
is outside of the tumor. That's it.
Yeah, it's just.
All right.
Yeah.
You're wasting way too much time.
We are spending a lot of time on these
Holy
Vikings.
cow. Okay, quick through the linebacking core. What do you think?
Yeah, it's one of them. I gave them an 8 out of 15. They're fine, I guess.
I gave him a 7.
I gave them a 9 out of 15. Danielle Hunter's carrying this big time. He had 10.5 sacks, 12 tackles for loss. Nope, Danielle.
Daniel.
Danielle's a girl's name. Although you never know. There's like Bailey Zappi and all that. Zappi's such a girl name. There are currently seem to be trade rumors around him, though. We'll see if he sticks around, but currently he is on the roster. They also signed Marcus Davenport, former first-round pick of the Saints, who's up and down very much. He had a career-high 9 sacks in 2021 and then half a sack in 2022. And then Jordan Hicks in that linebacking core had 129 tackles last year, which is solid.
Yeah, their top 5 guys combined had 30 sacks together. So, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good defense, though. They were really bad last year.
Yeah, I mean, the Minnesota defense was like almost as bad as the Lions defense. It's just not quite.
Well, numbers-wise, or for as a points defense, they give up the exact same amount of points.
Really?
The exact. It was like 430 something.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, their secondary. I gave them a 4.
Mm-hmm.
They lost most of their corners to free agency.
Pat Pete's gone.
Yep. And quarterback. So this is kind of an overarching defensive stat, but quarterbacks had the 3rd most yards per attempt against them of any team in the NFL.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is
And
a
they
lot
also-
on the secondary.
Yeah.
And just not
Yeah,
getting
maybe I
pressure.
should give him
then-
less of a point.
Well,
Yeah,
and
I'm at a
then,
9.
They
No.
had Lewis Klein, who was pretty good, but then he was injured,
Mhm.
and then he's just not that good. That was kind of like their best one, and then
Yeah.
he got injured, and it's just not good. So I gave him a 4.
Yep. Currently on ESPN, Andrew Booth is projected to be their top starting corner. He was a rookie last year. He didn't play very much. When he did, he wasn't very good. So
Yeah.
we'll see. They did sign Byron Murphy, he was solid in Arizona, solid corner. So that's nice for them. Of course, Harrison Smith, one of the best safeties in the league, or he has been. He's slowly been in decline. That's because he's going into like his 10th season now. So that just happens when you're old. But he's still been pretty good. And then they also have Cameron Bynum as their other safety. And he's been all right his first couple years in the league.
What'd you give him?
I give them a 5.
I give him a 4 or 5.
Oh
Man, right in between. What do you think about their special teams, John?
I gave special teams also a 4 or 5, but it's out of 7 this time.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, they had a lot of return yards, and it's all right. I mean, they had 1 return touchdown. Woo! Yeah.
Yeah, and that kick returner guy, his name is Kini Nwangu. Keen, whatever.
Keen
Nwangu. He's been returning kicks to them for 2 years now, and he already has 3 kick return touchdowns.
Yeah, good job. He had all of their kick return yards. He was on the field the entire time. There were 2 other guys here that they had ready, but they were just on punt return.
Mm-hmm.
He did all the kick returns or kickoff return.
They also brought in Brandon Powell to be looks like the punt return guy. Yeah, from the Rams. So I gave their special teams a 5.
Yeah, pretty solid.
I gave it a 4. So
And
What
a
is
4.
your, oh my gosh.
What do you think of their kicker?
Okay. Let's all say our score at the same time for audio purposes. It'll sound great.
Mm-hmm.
But I gave them
So 1, 3.
4.
okay. Good thing no one gave him a 3.5.
Yeah, I'd be upset. Yeah, I give him a 3. Greg Joseph. He's been an all right kicker. He had 86% of his kicks back in 2021, but only 78% last year. That's not a trajectory you like to see. He did have a long of 61 last year, and he hit that game winner against Indianapolis in the biggest comeback in NFL history.
Which is honestly why I gave him a little bit higher, because I originally had him. I didn't give him an extra point. Like, it's not my extra. Didn't pay attention to that for the kickers, but that was just really cool. And so having a long of 61 is one of the, in all the ones we've ranked so far, is one of the bigger longs. No, Justin Tucker's 66.
It's no Justin Tucker.
And he also only had an 87% extra point percentage, which is bad.
A little shaky.
But he's not terrible.
Classic Vikings kicker.
He did also miss 6 of his 10 kicks past 50 yards. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Whoops.
But 50 yards, they aren't gimmies.
They aren't, but he also hit from 61 yards. So, I mean, like 10
So
yards
he can.
Yeah, 4 out of the 10 times you put him out there. I guess he comes in clutch when you need him, but for those other 6, it didn't really pan out.
Yeah.
I still give him a 3 out of 5, though.
What's your total points?
I gave him a 65.
Oh, what'd you give him, Kyleigh?
64.5.
Leave right away. No.
I gave him a 67.
Oh.
So I have the high again.
My Lions are at a 66, and my Vikings are at a 65.
Hey, John.
And yours are what, a 66.5, right? And a 64.5?
Yeah, 66 and then 64.
All right. Well, we'll see if there's any
Yeah,
agreement later on.
I shouldn't have done half points.
I
hate
like
you.
half points. They're good. They add up. Like, if you have somebody with another half point, they add to a full point.
That's
and it's
insane.
Like, it's
That
so
is the
cool.
most intelligent thing that's ever come out of your mouth.
I would just say, like, I have 77 and also 2 halves.
You would say that.
But I don't do half points, so I can't.
Let's do the Bears next, because we'll save the Packers for last.
Oh, boy.
Save the Packers for last and make this a 3-hour podcast.
Yep, that's going to be 2 of the hours right
We're
there.
going to go really fast to the Bears because they're the Bears.
Chicago, John, you love Justin Fields. What do you
I
think
do.
about
Yeah,
him?
you do love Justin Fields.
I'm at a 12.5.
Okay.
I've met an 11.
Me too.
Whoa.
I sound really excited.
For those of you on Spotify, we high-fived.
For those of you on
Terrible.
Spotify, I'm glad you didn't have to see that. 12.5. I think he has a lot of potential this year. He was kind of throwing like the ball away whenever he had open receivers, but when he had open receivers, it was very, very rare and few and far between. It was basically a 1-on-12 show the whole time, and he kind of made it work.
1
for
on
a couple,
12.
or 1 on.
These defenses are playing against the rules. That's
Oh,
illegal.
What? No. Well, the coach too, because his coach was trash. So he ran for 1,143 yards.
Second all time.
Second all
for the
time.
season.
And he made it work. He got a couple wins out of it. Besides him running, he had 2,200 yards through the air, which is more than Lamar Jackson. It's not, but he had 17 touchdowns in the air, and he also had 11 picks, so he's not the most accurate.
Not the greatest.
But he does have a better receiver now, so I think he could be. I think he could be better this year.
I think he has a lot of potential, but I also feel like we have yet to really see it. And there's, for whatever reason,
rating on potential.
there's a lot of like Justin Fields hype. There's Justin Fields MVP talk for this season. I'm like, calm down. How about he wins a few games first?
How about
and
he
stops
has it?
throwing the ball to the other team and completes more than barely 60% of his passes. So I gave him an 11 out of 20, kind of almost out of like I guess like I gave Anthony Richardson a 10. So I was like, well, I'll give Justin Fields the edge over Richardson. And obviously Richardson's bigger and whatnot, but like they're kind of comparable, I feel like, just in the very simple aspect of not the most accurate, but they can run like crazy.
Yeah. Well, and he had 17 touchdowns to 11 picks.
It's not the most
And
cutest
so he had
touchdown
3
reception.
less picks than Kirk Cousins and more than, what is that, 12 less touchdowns?
And he only played 15 games.
Yeah. So
Imagine
likes
if he played
the-
2 more. Like, that would have been crazy.
He would have passed
Wow.
Dak for interceptions.
Yeah, the
Probably.
dirt is his favorite receiver.
Yeah, he likes
Well-
throwing it to the dirt.
And the other team.
Yeah, that's
Both
true.
those guys.
Or he likes running it because he's scared to throw it.
Now, part of that is
Like
because
rookie Lamar Jackson vibes.
part of that is
Normal
because
Lamar
he didn't
Jackson
have the best supporting cast around him. And we'll get to that in a little bit, but we'll actually hit one of what I think is the better parts of this Bears offense, and that is their running backs.
Mm-hmm.
They signed Dante Foreman in the offseason, who had over 900 yards last year for those Carolina Panthers, and I think he had 5 touchdowns, 4.5 yards per carry, which is solid. And then Kyleigh Herbert's been there for a couple years now. He's probably going to get some more action in his 2 years there. He's got 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns, and he's averaging 5.7 yards per carry, which
Yeah.
is pretty darn good.
They're just taking everyone from Carolina. They sent.
Uh-huh. Well, they also
Like
got PJ
3.
Walker as the backup quarterback now, and
So I gave him a 5.5.
well, I gave him a 6.
Okay.
Give him a
What
5,
did you
Josh.
give them, John?
I gave him a 6.
Okay.
So-
you say 5, I'm leaving.
I think their running game is going to be good, but I don't think it's going to be as good as the people that are running the ball because of Justin Fields. So the yards that these running backs could get, I think Justin Fields is going to be running a lot again. So I think the running game is going to be really strong, but a lot of it I still think is going to be Justin Fields.
I agree.
So that's why I gave them a 6 instead of, higher.
All right. Moving on to wide receiver.
Yeah,
That's
they just
another
got
thing they were
DJ
really lacking.
Moore.
Yeah, so I
Former
gave
Carolina Panther.
another Carolina Panther. He averages 14.1 yards per carry, which is really good.
Per catch.
That's, yeah.
Per carry, bro's a running back.
Yeah, no, I used the wrong word. They both
Deebo
start with
Samuel.
C's. It's okay.
It's not okay.
Yep.
Stop.
DJ
right
Moore's got more receiving
Yes.
yards in his career than anyone has ever had for the Bears.
now. Yep.
So, I mean, if he's just there for like 4 years, he'll be like their best receiver of all time.
Yep. They also got Darnell Mooney,
Mm-hmm.
who is also good.
Coming
He-
back from injury, he's good. Yep.
Yeah, 12.0 yards per catch.
Nailed
Yeah.
it.
But he only played 12 games and he had 493 yards. So
Mm-hmm. Then he got hurt. So
yeah, poor guy.
they did
Correct.
also. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he was their number 1 receiver last year, right?
Yep.
Okay,
And then he
so
got hurt.
Yeah,
I
and then
don't think
died.
he is number 1 receiver material, but I think he's a good 2 or
Mhm.
possibly 3 if
He's gonna have to do that too.
Chase Claypool
Who's a Steeler?
can
Yeah.
pull up. Because, I think
I don't think Chase Claypool's gonna do that though.
I
I think he's a okay 3.
he could be a 2 if he picks it up a bit. And Darnell Mooney is I think they're both good 2s or 3s.
Doesn't help that Chase Claypool's also annoying.
Yeah.
He's
because he's a Steeler, obviously.
No,
Not
it's because
anymore.
he's cringe.
Or I'm saying he was. Which
He's
yeah,
still
that is-
cringe,
that
though,
is an
so-
infectious disease playing for the Steelers.
Yeah, I like the receivers better than they had last year. I don't love
Yeah.
them, but I
I
like
think
them.
they're fine. I think Chase Claypool is a fine third receiver. They traded for him midseason, and he did nothing. But maybe now with a full offseason under his belt there, and being more integrated in that offense, and him and Justin Fields building some chemistry in the offseason, maybe that'll help that connection. He's not a bad 3. And like you said, Darnell Mooney's a good number 2. I gave their receiving core a 7.
Stop. I gave him a 7 too.
What'd you give him?
A 7.2.
7.2.
No, I thought I gave him a 9.
What?
I said at the very beginning of this. Listen.
I didn't hear that.
I
You
didn't hear it
that
either.
Oh, maybe I
No.
didn't say that. I gave
Watch
him a
back
9.
the tape.
Anyways.
So you give him a 9. Okay.
You like their tight ends?
I
Kyleigh?
well, because I think that with all 3 of those, none of them are terrible, and so you're in a position where no matter who's playing, you can still get production from all of them.
Yeah.
So I think that's a better part of their offense for sure.
I do like their tight ends, though.
Tell me about them.
Well, they got Cole Kmet. He's a good tight end. He had over 500 yards, 7 touchdowns
Big.
in 2022. And then they also signed Robert Tonyan, who I really like. He was a Packer for the last 5 or 6 years. Great weapon. One of the best tight ends back in 2020. He had 11 touchdowns, led all tight ends in touchdowns that season. Tore his ACL next year. Never really fully came back from that, but I still think he's a great weapon for a quarterback to
Because he
have.
only had 2 touchdowns this past season,
Mhm.
correct? Yeah. But I give him a 7.5.
I gave him a 6.
Stop.
What'd you give them?
I give him a 6.
Okay.
Why am I higher than all of you guys? Did I?
What'd you give Hawkinson?
Hawkinson,
Because I gave him a 5.
We didn't give him the same thing. I know that.
Okay.
I gave him a 5.
I gave him
He
a
gave
7.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. Like, I like their tight end room better than I like Minnesota's. Because Cole Kmet's really good. I think Tunyon's really good.
We'll just say that I gave them an extra point, so then it's more accurate.
Yeah.
I was just kind of looking at Tunyon's last year and how he hasn't really got back that production.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's kind of just like how TJ Hawkinson has another guy in the room that you don't really know. It's just like, I don't think he's going to be that good. I think it's going to be more on, you just said his name.
Kmet.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more on Kmet. And Kmet's not as good as TJ Hawkinson. So that's just my thought on it.
Okay, moving on to offensive line.
They have the
Trash.
worst
They-
offensive
So
lineman in the league
bad.
last
They,
year.
my
Justin
goodness.
Fields, poor guy, got sacked 55 times. This is how
Oh.
Justin Fields plays 3 seasons, and then it's just done.
Pulls an Andrew Luck without the being good part.
Yeah, actually. They did draft someone. I forget. I didn't write down his name.
Yeah, Darnell Wright, 10th
Yes.
overall.
Was that, is that,
Tennessee.
is that the guy with the crazy reach, or is that the other guy?
No, it's the
that
other
was
guy.
the guy. That was the tight end from Georgia, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Crazy Rich, he went to the Steelers.
Yeah. Okay.
They're
I
my
had
number
those
4
confused.
team.
Yeah.
Yep,
And they also
that's why.
they signed Nate Davis from
The Titans.
From
So
the
again,
Titans,
from the
yeah.
state of Tennessee.
yeah.
Tennessee helping out Chicago big time here.
Still
Yeah,
going to
let's
be
go.
bad. I mean, there's
Yeah, the rest of the line is the same, which is why I gave him a 4 out of 10.
Hey, me
and I feel like
too.
that's being a little
Stop.
gracious.
No, I did give him a 4. Yeah.
Yeah, we all
Let's-
agreed.
The line is terrible.
Line's terrible. They're also almost in the middle.
And I feel like even there with a 4, that's like trying to be optimistic and be like, okay, if the rookie's good and if Nate Davis is good. Because like the guys that they did keep around have potential, you know? So maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, shoot.
I mean,
Let's-
this is the paper bowl. You know, we're all
Yeah.
being optimistic about all these teams.
Let's speak to this defense because we're just about to hit an hour.
And because it's also a terrible defense.
Yeah. Anything to say about their defensive line, Benet?
DeMarcus Walker, you know, he was an offseason signing for them, I believe, also from Tennessee. He had 7 sacks last year with the Titans. ESPN currently has Travis Gibson starting opposite him, but they could also do Green or Robinson there at that edge spot. Green had 3.5 sacks with the Texans last year, and then Robinson, he was a rookie last year, a late round rookie, didn't play much, still got 1.5 sacks. Middle of that line is Justin Jones, Andrew Billings. They're both all right. 8 out of 15.
I gave him a 6.
I gave him a 6 too.
Well, I give him a 6.
We high-fived for the Spotify people.
Any other thoughts on their line, defensive line?
I didn't really like it.
All right, linebackers. They had some good signings, in my opinion, for their linebacking core. They got T.J. Edwards from the Eagles, Tremaine Edmonds from the Bills, so both new faces there. Starting at linebacker, they both had well over 100 tackles last year for their respective teams. And then Jack Sanford, he had a solid rookie year, especially for being a later round pick. And so hopefully he'll be able to build on that. I give him a 7.
Give him a 5 out of 10.
And I gave him a 7.5, so.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping on that one.
Well, you probably aren't
I've
going to
been
be
tripping on a lot of them, so it's okay.
tripping on their secondary. What'd you give their secondary?
3 out of 10.
Yeah. What'd you give them?
I am a 5.
I also give them a 5.
Let's go.
Their top corner is Jalen Johnson. Can you tell me who that is?
I can't.
You
but
can't exactly. He's not the best.
I also didn't know who Tim Tebow was for a while, so
That's true. You are the rookie. They got Tariq Stevenson opposite him. That they took him in the 2nd round out of Miami. Maybe he'll be good, but rookie corners typically do tend to struggle. Eddie Jackson, he's been one of the better safeties in the league the last 3 years. They got Brisker as the other safety who was all right as a rookie. I think the best corner they got on this team, though, is one that's not even listed as a starter on ESPN at least, and that's Kyleigh Gordon, who was also a rookie last year. And he showed some good potential. He had 3 interceptions and 6 passes knocked away.
deflected.
Deflected. Batted away.
You did
Okay.
5.
3.
5.
What
Boom.
about our special teams? Do you love it?
They had a more kick return yards than
Other people.
Velas Jones Jr.
996.
had 600 of those.
Yeah, so that's why I wrote down that Velas Jones Jr. is their guy for special teams.
Dante Pettis is the punt return guy, it looks like there. He had 163 punt return yards. I gave him a 3.
I also gave him a 3.
I gave him a 5.
Whoa.
And you just correct that to a 5 because it was a 3, and you were just I don't know.
No, I
Editing
had
mid-podcast.
my cursor over at my little thingy so I couldn't see what number it was.
Why'd you give him a 5?
I don't know, because they had more kick return yards than the other guys.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's not the best division to be judging off of, though. I mean, it's kind of like...
Well, because
there is
like
one
the
good one.
Vikings had 920 and they had 996, and I gave the Vikings a 4. So, yeah.
And then their whole
Alright.
kicking situation, they get Santos, who's solid. He only missed 2 field goals last year.
Yeah.
Also missed 5 extra points. So
Yes.
Yeah,
He only had
that-
an 84% extra point percentage.
yeah.
Don't love that.
No.
I'd rather be missing field goals than extra points because...
No.
No, like the percentage-wise.
I guess, but I mean, those 2 missed field goals are 6 points that they didn't score, and those 5 extra points are only 5.
Sure. Yeah, but if he's
So-
missing from like... If he's missing extra points, that's 29 yards out.
Sure.
And if he's missing field goals from, 50-plus yards, like, that's understandable. But if you can't hit your field goal or your extra points, like, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, like, up close if he can't hit a 29-yard field goal, because he did hit all of his field goals from 20 yards to 39, and then he started missing the farther he got out. And then he also had 84%. So
I gave him a 3.
same here.
I gave
What's
him
that
a 4.
overall looking like?
Oh. Overall, for those Chicago Bears, I got him at a 60.
I had him at 65.
I had him at a 55.5.
Ooh. What is that the lowest?
That is the lowest. That's
What's
I
the
have
lowest
him-
is that?
below the Texans. The Texans are at a 57.
Okay.
So I only have him a point and a half below the Lions, which I'm kind of with that,
Mhm.
I kind of agree with that for
Really?
myself. And then 64, and then I have the Vikings a point below them. So
Oh, wow, below the Bears.
yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, actually, no, it's only 0.5 points below the Bears.
Wow.
But I mean,
I feel there's a
I'm
lot of
little
Bears
bit of a
hype.
Vikings hater and
There's-
a little bit of a Bears. I have the same opinion of the Bears I have with the Lions. I feel bad for Bears fans.
Frick the Bears. I don't care.
Oh, that's so mean.
What the
Speaking
Bears?
about frickin'
The Bears to me are like what the Steelers are to you. Okay.
Okay, well that's true. Okay, I can give you a pass on that, but I feel bad for Bears fans. I feel like the Bears have been bad for so long, and I would love to see the Bears and Lions be actual contenders in this.
Yeah, I feel bad for the fans.
That's more what I'm talking about.
Frick the team.
Frick everyone.
I don't feel bad at all. I'm very confident that they are the worst team in the league.
Yeah, I was looking. There's all this hype going on about the
More than
Bears right
Texans.
now, and now though after doing this deep dive into the roster, I'm like, why? Why is there so much hype? They're still not good
It's because they got DJ Moore and they have some okay receivers now. So
because they're gonna win
Well, just
6
ask
games
him.
now.
He's the Justin Fields fangirl.
Justin Fields stan.
I'm not.
Anyways, let's move on to the Packers.
Yay! Finally.
Oh, also wait quickly with the Bears,
the
7.5.
over-under.
We also
Oh.
didn't do over and under for the Vikings. So we
Seven
can
and
hit
a
that
half.
real
I'm
quick.
taking under hard.
Also taking the under.
I just want to be different and take the over, but I only think they're gonna win 8.
Vikings
Although I'd love to see them win more than that. But
are
okay.
8.5.
Under.
Under, smashing the under.
I'm gonna just tap it a little bit because I think they're gonna get like 7 or 8.
I don't like the Vikings.
Yeah.
I don't
They
either.
stole our color. Okay. Even though they were around first.
They were around for like 60 years
Way
before.
longer.
Before
Anyways,
we were. Like 4
Packers.
years.
Benaya, as the resident Packers fan,
That's me.
you obviously have to start with your Packers hat and with, if you're watching on YouTube.
If you're watching on Spotify, trust me.
Yeah.
Packers hat. Yeah, Jordan Love, quarterback. It's his time to shine now going into year 4. It's finally his team. It's good news coming out of the OTAs and whatnot, although I don't put a lot into practice because, Blake Bortles was really good in practice one time too. Like, I don't care. And so, get more of an opinion on him into the season. He could be great or he could be terrible. I think he's going to be somewhere in the middle where he's going to be solid. He's going to have his ups, have some good games. He's going to throw some dumb picks. I think he's going to throw double-digit interceptions. And I think he'll play good enough to keep Green Bay at least in that playoff conversation come week 14, week 15, might be floating around 500. And then I think, he'll still be the quarterback going into the next season. I gave him a 10 out of 20.
All that talk and you gave him half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't. I can't. I feel like I can't give him higher than Justin Fields though, just
Well,
because he's such an unknown.
And I swear if Jordan Love becomes the next franchise quarterback and plays for Green Bay for like 1,400 years, I'm going to be so mad.
I won't.
I know. I gave him a 13.
I gave him a 12.
So
I think
I'm high on him compared to you, I guess.
I don't think you're high on him. I think that's a more than.
I said compared to him.
Yeah, loser, but it is just trying.
I'm trying not to bet on that potential.
He's trying not to get his hopes up.
I was trying to be nice to the Packers because I was going to try to not be mean to you, but you guys were kind of mean about the Ravens, so.
I mean, we're just kind of right about the Ravens, but.
Shut up. Anyways, anything else about Jordan Love, or are we going to move on?
I think he's got full potential. I mean, that's why they drafted him even after a season in college where he led the entire nation in interceptions, 17. They still took him in the first round because he has that Patrick Mahomes type potential. So did Zach Wilson. So, again, we'll see.
Yeah.
I think he's got the right coaching around him, though, and I think it does help that he has been there for so long, that he's not just a rookie.
I love that video. Like Ghetto Gronk posted it. It was like Justin Love. Wow. Jordan Love's first 2 picks. He's like, this guy's so trash. And
it's still off the receiver's hands.
Right to the receiver.
Because he's playing with the backups or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them are his fault. Some of them aren't. You know, I think the verdict is still out on him because there's some people that are already like ready to give up on him. And it's like, let's actually have a team that's tailored to him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and not AA run.
Speaking of that team tailored to him, let's get to some of those guys. Running back room, what do you think?
Whoop, that running back room is trash. I mean, it's really good. I think
only the best running back duo in the league.
It is, yeah. And I gave him the extra point. They're at a 7.5 for me. Yeah. Aaron Jones got 1,100 yards, and Quadzilla got just under 800, and they're knocking at the door of 2,000 combined.
Yeah,
they're just really good. I think it may be a bit of a down year touchdowns wise because they got 9 together.
Yeah, Jones only had 2, but he did have 400 receiving yards and 5 receiving touchdowns. So
yeah,
he's the receiving back. He's kind of like the shifty guy, and then Quadzilla will run you over like a train.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really good receiving duo. I had in fantasy.
Receiving duo?
No, Judas. Yeah, I can't talk.
I'm so confused. I had him at a 6.5. So.
Did you give him that extra point?
I did not.
I had him at a 7, and with the extra point, gave him that perfect 8.
I didn't give any running backs an extra point or anything. So.
You can give it right now if you want. I gave him a 6.5, and then I gave him the extra point.
Why would I want to be like you? I'm just kidding. Anyways, okay, whatever. I'll do it.
Yeah. Pull you into giving the Packers the highest ranking.
Well,
behind the Ravens, because I don't think anyone's going to pass up your Ravens ranking.
No, my Ravens ranking. It was a 91. Shut up. Okay, anyways. Wide receivers.
They got good potential. See, the thing with the Packers right now is they're very young. Mm-hmm. I think they might be the youngest team in the league on average right now. Because, before they had Aaron Rodgers, who's pushing 40, Mercedes Lewis, who's pushing 40, bunch of the, Randall Cobb, Adrian Amos, all those guys are gone now and on the Jets.
Everyone is on the Jets.
So they're very young. I think Christian Watson, he's going to be their top guy. I think he has the potential to be a top 10 receiver. I'm not betting on that, though, in my rankings or my points here. He had 611 yards, 7 touchdowns. Almost all that came week 10 or afterwards. We were there for his first, 113 or whatever it was, and his first 3 touchdowns.
4 receptions, 3 touchdowns, and
like 113 yards.
Yeah.
Something like that. And he just kept that up pretty much the rest of the season.
Not quite
and
that,
so
but it was...
if he can keep that up, and I think he could definitely be, 1,000 yards, 9 or 10 touchdowns. Romeo Doubs, he was a good player also as a rookie, 425 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think he can get more involved. I think he struggled with some injuries last year as well. They got Samari Torrey as well, who only had 5 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown, but they're really liking him right now in camp. Again, Blake Bortles practiced good too, so I kind of don't care, but it's good to see. And I guess mixed feelings about his college days because he went to Montana, but it's like, do I root for him or whatever? I mean, he's a Packer, so I will root for him. But and those are the 3 old guys on the receiving room. The 3 guys all going in their second year, because the other 2 guys are Jaden Reed, who they took in the 2nd or 3rd round.
Yeah.
And then they also got Dontavian Wicks, who was a late round pick, but I think could see the field some. I mean, all of the receivers that they took the year before were second round or later.
Yeah. What did you give him?
I give them a 6 out of 12.
I gave him a 7.
I give him a 6.5.
Oh my gosh.
At least we're like agreeing for the most part.
Any other thoughts other than what I just spewed out for the last 8 minutes about receivers?
No.
I mean, I was just kind of thinking, as Christian Watson, having him as your number one receiver is kind of like.
Again, they're betting on that potential and him developing.
And so are you. And you were saying earlier about the potential. You're like, you don't like betting on it, and how.
That's why I give him a 6.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I give him like an 8.
Yeah. So I just don't know, because like early season, Christian Watson was just dropping everything.
Oh yeah, first play of the season.
First play of the season,
75-yard
through his
drop.
hands. Yeah, and then he's just like, oh no, and then a 3 touchdown game with 4 receptions. So
Randy Moss.
High ceiling, low floor.
Yep.
I just don't know if that's gonna pair well with Jordan Love, because Jordan Love, this is his first
I mean, he is
time.
kind of he's also like a high ceiling, low floor kind of guy too, though.
Yeah, but just
Then they all have low floors together, and that's not.
Oh, they could be
good.
terrible.
Yeah.
or one of them has a high ceiling at some point, and then the other one has a low floor, and they can't connect.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it'll be that great receiving wise, especially with Jordan Love just coming into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't. It's not going to be great. I don't think.
Yeah.
Still give him a higher ranking than I did.
6.5. I mean,
All right.
I like the rookie. I
Jaden
like
Reed.
Jaden Reed.
Yeah, we'll get to him in a little bit too with the punt return stuff because he was a beast in college at that.
Yeah.
All right. Tight ends.
They drafted two of them.
Yeah,
in
Luke
the
Musgrave
second and third round.
Tucker Kraft.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had, what is this? I don't even know how to say his last name.
Let's see.
DeGuara or
Oh yeah,
whatever.
Isaiah DeGuara
And
or
he
Josiah
was-
DeGuara.
Yeah, and he only had 114 yards.
He's been there forever.
So he's just kind of there. Hope if Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft can, or at least one of them can
Right.
be really good, then they're set. But they're rookies. So
Rookie
you
tight
really
ends
never know.
Do
But-
typically tend to struggle, but I think one of them is at least going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so I don't know which one that's going to be. I am kind of leaning Tucker Kraft. He was the guy I really like going into the draft, so I'm glad the Packers were able to get him. But I think one of them are going to be all right. I know Musgrave did deal with some injuries throughout college too at Oregon State. So all that being said, I gave him a 4 out of 8.
Me too.
What'd you give him,
gave
John?
a 4.5.
I gave him a 4.
Nice.
Agreed.
It's funny. We all have all these like really close similarities, and then Kylie's like 10 points ahead of me on the Bears or something. So I don't get it. I mean, what?
Rigged.
It's those half points.
Anyways, anything else about tight ends?
Not really.
Tucker Kraft, South Dakota State. He's very similar to Dallas Goedert, not just in that he went to South Dakota State, but that is, tight end university right there.
Woo. Anyways, okay.
O-line.
O-line.
It's there.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Rodgers was sacked 32 times, which is in
Kind
the
of-
top 10 least sacks of the league.
Mhm.
So, it's not that bad. It's compared to Justin Fields' 55. It
Mhm.
looks really good.
And like David Bakhtiari only played, I think, 10 or 11 games
Yeah.
last year. He's one of the best left tackles in the league.
Yeah, he was
Now,
injured.
his recovery from his torn ACL in late 2020 has taken a lot longer than anyone hoped.
Yeah.
He should be good now because he was good for the second half of last year for the most part. And yeah, like I said, he's one of the best left tackles in the league. And then Elton Jenkins, probably
also injured too, right?
he was injured some last year.
Okay, that's
I think he's good for now though.
Okay.
But I mean, the most versatile offensive lineman in the league. You put him anywhere on the line and he kills it. And so I think normally they'll put him in at guard, but he's played center, he's played both guards, he's played both tackle positions.
That's cool.
You put him anywhere and he'll play it and like at a high level too. And so we got two of the best offensive linemen in the league when healthy. And then the rest of the line I think is pretty good, right? Josh Myers, he was good at center. That was his second season. They got John Runyon and Josh Nijman, who are both solid players on that right side line. So I think all in all, it's a pretty good line. I gave him a 7.
I gave him an 8.
I give him a 6.5.
Why so low?
Because I just feel like they're not quite a 7,
That's it's a good reason.
Great reason. Okay, anyways.
How about that D-line? They run a 3-4.
They do. So out of 10, I give them a 7.
I gave him a 6.
Kenny Clark's doing some heavy lifting there.
Yeah, Kenny
I
Clark
think
is the only
He's
thing
probably
that's
the
my only
third
note.
best defensive tackle in the league, only behind Aaron Donald and Chris Jones. They also got TJ Sheldon. Looks like he's stepping into that starting role on the line. And then they got Wyatt there, who was a first-round pick back in 2021. He's going into his second season, so some high expectations there for him.
Yep. What about the linebackers, Benay? Well, actually, you didn't say what you had. Did you?
He gave him a 5, right?
I gave him a 5, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Give him a 5,
I
yeah.
just wasn't listening. My bad. Linebackers.
I like what they got going on for linebackers. Preston Smith, he's been great in Green Bay ever since he got there back in 2019. He had 8.5 sacks last year, which is solid. Rashawn Gary, I think he had 6 sacks before he tore his ACL in the middle of the season. And so hopefully he'll be able to come back healthy by the beginning of the year, or at least very early on into the season, and continue to go on that tear that he's on now that he's really kind of fully developed. Devondre Campbell, he was an all-pro a couple of years ago at that middle linebacker position, and he was good again last year too. Quay Walker, first-round pick, also in 2021, or I guess 2022 it would have been. He showed some flashes when he wasn't, punching medical personnel and whatnot on Sunday Night Football.
121 tackles.
Mm-hmm. And he was good there. And then their first-round pick was Lucas Van Ness, 13th overall. So that's a good set of guys to kind of have subbed in and out, because you got Gary and Smith rushing, but then you can also put Quay Walker in there. You can put Van Ness in there, and so you can just keep your guys fresh. And I think that's all some pretty good talent there.
Yeah, I gave him an 11.
I gave him a 12.
Wow. Maybe I should go up. I give him an 8.
Oh, out of 15.
At 15. Yeah, I'll take it up.
Well, I think is like they're probably going to end up going like an 8 because of the way that our defensive coaches are. Because we had most of those guys last year, and we could not stop the run to save our lives.
Well, that's kind of why I give him a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll put it up to a 10. Be optimistic on that one.
Our defense is good on paper. It always is.
Jair Alexander.
Well, he's good not just on paper, but in reality.
He's good in real. He shut down the
Justin Jefferson's dad.
He's his father. Yeah.
He is legally. They found it out.
They found out. Yeah.
He's Justin Jefferson's father. Uh-huh.
On paper, yeah.
And in theory.
And in theory.
I don't know.
And in reality.
Based. Yeah,
So
he completely shut him down. He got like 12 yards or something that game. And he was like throwing his helmet down and hitting refs.
He was about to clock a ref.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
And Jair was playing really good. Besides that, the rest of the season, he got 14 passes deflected. He got 5 interceptions. He did pretty good. He was shutting down his guys.
Yeah, he was. And then you pair that up with Rasul Douglas, who's been really good the last couple of years as well. It's a solid cornerback duo.
Yeah, he's just below Jair here, and he has 13 instead of 14 passes deflected, and then 4 instead of 5 picks.
Mm-hmm.
But he did play one more game. So, yeah, I think that's a good duo there.
Mm-hmm. Outside of that, though, when it comes to the secondary, it's kind of a big old question mark. Eric Stokes, first-round pick back in 2021. He was okay as a rookie, but again, rookie corners, they do tend to struggle, and then only able to play about half of last season, and then he got hurt when he was playing. He, hadn't quite taken the step that people were hoping that he would have taken. And then safety, also a big question mark. Darnell Savage kind of didn't play as good as he had in previous years, and so he ended up getting benched at halfway through the season, and he was able to come back on as more of a cornerback. And so I'll be interested to see if they move him, keep him at safety, or if they keep him at that corner position where he was better. It's a big year for him. He's going into his contract season. Ooh. They got Rudy Ford, who was good. Saw him pick off Dak Prescott twice in person, which was pretty awesome to see.
That was like the first time his name ever appeared. It was like a nobody.
I didn't know who he was until that game.
Same.
And then
hating on Dak, though, that's extra point for sure.
Oh, yeah. And then they also signed Jonathan Owens from the Texans, who was a solid starter last year.
Yeah. I give him a 5.5.
What'd you give him, man?
I gave him a 7.
I gave their 7 too. I do like their duo, and that's all I really like. But
yeah, same.
If you have a good safety or a corner duo, that's nice. I mean, especially with your pretty decent linebackers as well, and I don't know. That's it. That's all I gotta say with my words.
All right, special teams.
But yeah, you were excited to get to this one.
Keyshawn Nixon was a game changer last
Dude,
year.
I bet, yeah.
He started returning kicks the week after we went to that Cowboys game. Is when he really took over kick return duties. He had 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Week 11 to week 18.
Yeah, they have 1,205 kick return yards, and I want to say
Over 1,000 of those.
1,009 are just Nixon.
Mm-hmm. Got
So
the first
he is
kick return
that guy.
touchdown since Randall Cobb's very first game back in 2011.
Wow. Yeah, and he had league high 5 kickoff returns of 50+ yards. So he
Several
is that
times
guy.
he was getting us across midfield. He was a game changer. He was a big reason why the Packers started winning all those games down the stretch, because instead of Amari Rodgers fumbling the ball away, all of a sudden we were starting with the ball at the 45-yard line, which is huge.
Exactly.
So I give them a 6 out of 7.
Gave them a 5.5.
Yeah, I gave him a 5.5.
Wow. Matching on those 0.5s.
Yes. All right, and finally their kicker.
Yeah, Mason
Ooh.
Crosby is
Yes.
all gone now. Looks like, I mean,
Bye-bye.
there is a chance that they bring him back if the rookie kicker isn't good or if there's an injury or something like that.
If he doesn't
Which-
stay, though, if he doesn't come back to the Packers, where do you think he'll go?
I feel like somewhere like northeast, somewhere in that area. I could see it.
Well, and Mason Crosby. Wait, are you supposed to answer Mason?
It is.
Okay. He had a long of 56.
His
so
leg
that's-
wasn't. It was in decline.
Yes, I was like, what?
It's been a long time coming with him
But-
leaving.
Yes, but he had kind of mid percentages for both. So hopefully Anders Carlson will be really good.
Hopefully, if he's anything like his brother, obviously he'll be great. And the Packers' current special teams coach was the Raiders' special teams coach when they got Carlson. So maybe there's that kind of a connection there. That being said, Anders Carlson only hit 71% of his kicks in college, so I gave them a 1 out of 5.
You give him a 1 out of 5.
Gave him a 1.
Dang.
I hope he'll be good, but I don't love you only hit 70% of your kicks in college.
That sucks.
I gave him a 3. I was a little high on it.
I gave him a 2. I was a little in between on it.
Yeah, that's the first time I've given anyone a 1. Hopefully he's good, but
Yeah, you say you don't rate on potential, and then you kind of rate on potential, and then you absolutely are like, no,
yeah,
he's not proven.
I guess it evens out.
yeah,
Maybe. Well,
I don't know.
kicker you can only give 5 points, so it's
that's what evens it all out.
yeah, the 5
So
points.
what total points do you guys got?
I want to hear what you got.
Yeah, I want
first.
you go first.
Got him at a 68.
I have a 70.5.
I have a 66.
Ooh,
So you rated I had the Lions at a 66.5, the Packers at a 75 or 70.5,
ooh.
Vikings at a 64.5, and Bears at a 65.
So the Packers are your top.
Packers are my top.
Whoa, let's go.
Packers are tied.
I've always been an Aaron Rodgers fan.
He's
You know,
not
that's
there.
also
He's
my
not there anymore.
and so that's why I've always liked the Packers. So I gotta continue liking the Packers even though Aaron Rodgers is not there
Based.
anymore. So, and my mom loves Aaron Rodgers too. It's like her
Same.
fave.
Celebrity
Are you
crush.
gonna like
Even though
the-
his hair was greasy for a little bit, that's okay.
A little bit, and then he did the Nazi thing. And
Are you gonna like the?
It's okay. Not really.
Do you like the Jets now because of Aaron Rodgers, or?
I'll root for Aaron Rodgers.
I'm rooting for the Jets to
I
do
won't say
good.
that I'm a Jets fan, but I will root for Aaron Rodgers.
heck yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, over under. What's the?
Vegas got him at 7.5.
Oh, I'm smashing the over on that one.
I'm also taking the over. I think they'll get 9 or 10.
I was gonna say 10. I think that's my prediction. Jonathan.
I'll take over, but just ever so slightly.
So
Mm-hmm.
7.75.
That's how many wins they're gonna have.
Yes, but yeah, cool beans.
Yeah, just for reference, I have the Packers and the Lions at 66. I have the Vikings at 65. I have the Bears at 55.5.
Holy cow.
And as for reference on that, I have the Jets at what do I have? I have the Jets at 78.
Wow.
You are a closet Jets fan. Let's be honest.
I mean, you do have the Packers and Lions tied, so
yeah.
Packers taking the North.
Yep.
Let's go.
Both of them being tied, that does make them half a point behind the Patriots. So
That's a bummer.
yeah,
So they're
maybe-
still all in the cellar.
Yeah. In John's mind, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Scary place.
all
to the
below the Titans, Browns, and Raiders.
The Raiders. That's why I forgot you were so high on the Raiders.
Raiders
and
in
they're
a
on the Browns too. The Browns are the worst.
Benea's high on the Browns.
I
Yeah,
rated
but
the Browns
is
the
high on the
highest.
Browns. I don't. Why would anyone ever like the Browns ever?
I got the
I
Browns.
looked at their roster and I said they have good players. I
You
don't know
look
what
at
you want me
their-
to
You
do.
look at their faces and you'd be like, no.
prison.
Yes.
My Browns are at 68.5.
My Browns are at 76.
That's crazy.
I don't think it's that crazy though.
76 is what my Chargers are at.
John's
Yeah, it
just
checks
low
out.
on
I think they're
everyone,
about the
let's be
same
honest.
level. But
But, yep.
Dang. All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. We'll be back
Thanks,
next
guys.
week.
with the NFC South
NFC South. Thank you, Kyleigh, for coming on. We might have you on
So
again.
welcome.
every week.
Gotta-
I'm telling you, you gotta meet the diversity quota. Come on.
Yep.
Yep.
So, if you're on Spotify, vote in the little thing down below who you think is going to take this division. I think this could be a tight one.
Oh, I gotta
Gonna be a
Um,
fun time.
Last I checked, the AFC East, that was a 3-way tie. Jets, Dolphins, and Bills each had 1 vote.
Dang.
And
I voted for the Jets.
as of recording, the AFC West episode has not yet come out yet, but we'll update you guys on that when it is next time.
All right.
Yeah.
Goodbye,
Thanks for watching,
everyone.
guys. Bye.
Yep. See you next week.